And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Alien Spaceship stream. You can be watching from anywhere around the country or the world, and I really appreciate every single one of you. Welcome to the stream, and I hope everybody's been having a good Monday so far. This is a surprise live, so we do these every so often, especially when I see that there's no trials going on. And now what I'm going to be doing is going to be switching over to the other window right here. Alright. So, hello everybody. I hope everybody had a good weekend and everybody will be having hopefully everybody's having a good day. So, basically, what we have been doing with the certain trials, I've not seen, earlier this morning there were some trials on, but they haven't been having them on really today. So I thought that, I would do a live and talk about some things. And basically, we're going to do the game while we chat about different things, and then get into the other stuff as we go along into the stream. I remember, so basically, it's always quite funny with the news these days. Things are getting quite heated in the news from what I'm seeing regarding so we've been talking about the Epstein situation for the past couple of days, and it seems like it's only escalating, interestingly. Alright. So, now what we'll be doing is I'll be switching over to the game. Go from there. Let's see. Alright. Alright. So the pirate game is starting up. Yesterday I was doing some more research into some of the topics I talk about regarding the medieval time period in the King Arthur stuff, because I've talked about that on the stream before and on the channel for a couple of times, and now I'm kind of learning some more stuff about those legends and stories and stuff, which is something that I find quite interesting. Right. So, okay, I have this right here, the chat, but I want to make sure that this is over here. Alright. Alright, here we go. Alright, back on this island that we were on before. And then you have undead gold looters. Okay. So that's interesting. Now going into this cave, seeing what's going on here. Okay. I don't quite know if I've been in this one before. But it looks familiar enough. I probably have been through it a couple of times. Yeah, and there was a sentencing earlier for one of the murder trials that I saw, and then a piece of... There was also something else going on. I mean, another trial going on. I don't quite remember the name of it. Yeah, and I think this year there hasn't been a lot of active trials going on these days with, because last year there's a lot of them. But now there isn't really what there used to be. In this day and age. So we'll see if more of them come out over time. Right. So I think I have been here before. Yeah, just it was a little while back before they upgraded parts of the game. All right, so that's a gold mine. Well, you could mine. All right, so anyway, so I understand that. My character got deleted, but still, yeah, that is the mine, interestingly. Mines can be kind of dangerous, as I've said before. The entire game, that this is the nicest area to go to locked up in the jail, because the jails are much nicer than the other ones. Okay, so we have, see, because there's like a bed and a pillow. The other ones don't have that. They just have like a piece of wood. And in social media, it seems that there is still an uprising of triggered people over the way the Epstein files have been handled. It seems that it's still persisting as an upsetting situation for people. Throughout social media, so that is still going on. There seems to be like a little war right now between him, Trump, and the supporters right now. It's not lightening up, and there's different theories going all over the place. People believe that Bondi didn't handle it correctly. Oh, okay. Thank you, Anna, for letting me know. That must be where the others are. Okay. So, shout out to you, Anna. Thank you for letting me know. She says, "Hi, Alien. Watching Honor Trial on Justice is a process. Gangs on. I think the trial chat can't chat. Got to pay to chat." Oh, okay. So, I figured that maybe that was another trial of some sort could have been going on, but I wasn't sure what it was called. So thank you for letting me know. And yeah, so it must be one of those chats, kind of court TV, and some of their streams where people can't chat unless they pay. Oh, okay, thank you. I know. Earlier on Long Crime, there was two trials, or like there was a sentencing and something else that was on, it and that was it for the day. And I was like, all right, time to stream. People come or not. Right. So, thank you, Anna, for the information. Yeah, and basically, with the so regarding the Epstein stuff, there's nothing so far about Trump doing anything disturbing with anybody. He just seems like he may have done some business with Epstein. Like there was like a note when they raided the mansion in 2005 where there was a note where he was supposed to call Trump about something. They think probably for some real estate situation. But yeah, there was right. So that was something that I found out today about the Epstein thing. And Anna said, "Don't know why Law and Crime not covering it. Gang was at the two sentencing." Thank you, Anna. Yeah, I don't know why they're not covering it. In my opinion, from the little I know about them, I suppose they don't have their cameras there. They don't have access to it for some reason. It has to do with something like that. Like I'm sure they would want to cover it, but they don't. They're not they don't have the ability to do it or permissions and stuff, or they don't have their agents there. I don't really know. Something like that. It seems like over the years the trial coverage has kind of dwindled. Right, right. Yeah, Anna. But like, yeah, Trump is, he's been with the ladies a lot, right? Now people are saying that he hasn't like done anything like illegal stuff is what I'm talking about. And so I'm not like saying that's a bad thing because I'm saying basically he hasn't done anything like these illegal allegations that the Epstein did. He wasn't involved in that. It seems it's just that people are curious about what his relations with him were, and I was like looking into it. And he made commentary about Epstein that when before the falling out happened because of the allegations he had with the what Epstein was caught doing. He originally was he liked him originally. Thought he was terrific, but remember they're doing like business stuff with each other, so he didn't know about these other things that he was doing. And that he said Epstein likes allegedly he was saying that Epstein likes the ladies too, but usually younger. But he had no idea that he likes him a little bit too young. Epstein likes him a little bit too young. But then when the stuff was coming out about Epstein, he was saying that he wasn't a big fan of him, and he was shady. Just put it in layman's terms. And Anna says lunch now and trial. Okay, West Coast 3 hours earlier. There east. Clinton played with Epstein. Exactly. Yes, that is true. It's quite confirmed and quite well known that Clinton was with definitely most likely doing things with Epstein allegedly. That yeah. There's a picture of him getting a massage from somebody, and also that is quite certain that yeah he was associated with it allegedly. There's another alleged situation that Maxwell was going to testify before Congress about her story. I don't know how true this is, but she's going to testify before Congress and talk about the story, and it would be embarrassing for the Clintons. But nothing was going to be said about Trump because he didn't do anything. Yeah, so I don't. We'll see. I don't know about. That would be interesting if that actually happened. She is locked up for 20 years right now. By the way. Yeah, but now I don't understand like these people throwing away their lives and all the stuff that the mansion he had, and all the influence for this. Just it doesn't. No one wins. Yeah, yeah. Allegedly, like with dot 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 dot. Yeah, with the most sarcastic face ever. Yeah, allegedly. Yeah, I didn't know I could stand on this. Yeah, but it definitely was allegedly. Take the allegedly part with a grain of salt because I think it's more certainly he allegedly did it. Like more certainly than alleged. Yeah. Yeah, so they'll be exposed for that. And yeah, so on Twitter and on X, that didn't make any sense. On X, people call it Twitter sometimes, and on True Social, there's been back and forth banter between him and the supporters, and the movement has been torn. Oh, and I also am very appalled by that. How people are going to how she did that to those children. Definitely, I remember there was a story where with Virginia's case where she was asked to massage him when he wasn't wearing anything, and she didn't really think much of it. And then she was assaulted But yeah, Maxwell, she helped out a lot with this activity. I think it's quite appalling. Oh yeah, Prince Philip. Yeah, Prince Philip did stuff. He was the one that was with Virginia. Yeah, he definitely did stuff too. Yeah, he was ousted out of the royal family for what he was doing. It's an embarrassment, and it's also stereotypes that that he would do something like that with all the lizard people conspiracy theories. Yeah, he's certainly a lizard person by what he did, definitely. Oh, shift. I was pressing the wrong button. I remember I was watching the news again, the clip of them saying that there was going to be this list and there's a lot of names on them and they don't release anything. I remember that. It's clear as day. Like, they were talking about there's this list of people, but they don't release them. And I am. I don't know what the deal is. And Elon is saying just to release the files. There could be some legal things if it's an open investigation or not. They might be able to sequester the information, like the files, if they're still investigating it. Maybe that's a reason why they're not releasing it. But they should be transparent with the public, in my opinion, why they aren't doing that. Let's see. Got something over here. Let's see. Going all the way down. Yeah, so, and that is the situation, the conflict. Yeah, it's out, it's all over the place. I'm seeing, like, headlines right now. Trump faces a MAGA rebellion on the Epstein outcry. Okay. So, about the relations between them. Okay, yeah, so there is this, some articles I was coming across where from a couple of months ago about the relations between Epstein and Trump. And as I said, Trump has not been accused of doing anything wrong, and I'm not saying he did anything. It's just in the business world. Oh, Anna says girls said Prince Philip was sweaty and smelly. I think it was, yeah. Scared. Oh, your dog. It's raining and your dogs are acting like a paranoid schizo. Oh, the dogs are scared. Scared. Right. Yeah, and it'll. I hope your dogs calm down because I understand because the weather. It was raining over here yesterday. Now it's where you are. Yeah, it's sunny over here right now, at the moment. Yeah, but I understand that the pets don't like it when it rains like that. It might have been Prince Andrew instead of Prince Philip, but in my opinion, but yeah, I see what you mean. Scared. All right. A New York author. This is from a couple of months ago. This what I'm about to say. A New York author and journalist has released audio tapes appeared to detail how Trump had close social relationships with the late sex trafficker Epstein that he has long denied. The tapes released as part of the Fire and Fury podcast series that Michael Wolff, author of the books about Trump's first 2020 bid. Yeah, Andrew, yeah. And Prince Andrew was sweaty and smelly. Yeah, yeah. Andrew is an ogre. That's what he is. He's a Timu ogre from Sheen. Tapes released as part of a Fire and Fury podcast was terms a 2020 bid for the second. James Truman, former NME journalist and Condé Nast editorial director, including Epstein's thoughts about the inner workings of the former president's inner circle. Both said the recordings made during 2017 discussion with Epstein about writing his biography. Epstein allegedly died by suicide while awaiting trial on the sex trafficking charges 2 years later. Despite his crimes, the wealthy financier was at the heart of the social circle of the rich and powerful in the U.S. and overseas that contained many famous names, allegedly. Wolf claims that the excerpt tapes is a mere fraction of the 100 hours of Epstein talking about the inner workings of Trump White House, about his long outstanding deep relationship with Trump. Trump once praised Epstein. This is before he knew about what he was doing, of course. When they're just doing business stuff. And Epstein, I think, surrounded himself with people that were very important and famous to make himself look like a trustworthy figure. And he was acted a certain way to keep that image. Trump once praised Epstein in a conversation with the New York magazine in 2002, calling him calling him a terrific guy, and hinted his interest in women on the young side, but he claimed the pair had a falling out 15 years before Epstein was convicted on prostitution and solicitation charges in Florida in 2008. So many years before the allegations came out, he had a falling out with him. Quote, "I was not a fan of his, that I can tell you," President said after Epstein was arrested in 2019. The Fire and Fury tapes reveal that Epstein recalling how the president Trump played his circles off against each other and his people fight each other, and he positions the well outside, he says. The author names of Steve Bannon and Reince Priebus and Colleen Conway as being among the acolytes and officials that Trump played off against each other like courtiers in the competitive court, allegedly. He will tell 10 people that Bannon is a scumbag and Priebus is not doing good job, but Kelly Nain has a big mouth. What do you think? And J.P. Morgan Chase, Jamie Dimon says that you're a problem and I shouldn't keep you. And I spoke to the financier Carl Icahn, and Carl thinks that they needs a new spokesperson. Epstein continues his exposition of Trump and approaches a management. So the Kelly, and even though I hired Kelly's husband, Kelly just too much for the wild card. And he tells Bannon, I really want to keep Kelly hates you. Hello, Tom. Good to see you, buddy. In response to a podcast, Caroline, Trump campaign national press secretary, said, "Wolf is a disgraced writer who routinely fabricates lies in order to sell fiction books because he clearly has no morals or ethics. Accused the author of making outlandish false smears." Yeah, good to see you too, Tom. And engaging in blatant election interference on the behalf of Kamala Harris. Wolf's claims in the podcast that he became an outlet for Epstein to express his incredulity about someone whose sins he knows so well, and then his person actually being elected president. Epstein was utterly preoccupied with Trump, and I think, frankly, afraid of him. In the broadcast strokes, Wolf intention is paint a picture of two wealthy men in the 80s who shared interest in lie and money and women and status. He described how they socialized together in New York. The Guardian recently revealed that in '93, Epstein had taken Stacey Williams, a Sports Illustrated model, and his girlfriend 2 months to Trump's Fifth Avenue in the penthouse and allowed, or perhaps encouraged, the former U.S. president to grope her in what she described as a twisted game. Trump has denied Williams' claims. Speaking on the podcast, Wolf said that these two guys, both driven by the need to do anything they wanted with women, dominance and submission and entertainment, they're allegedly claiming, and one of them ended up in the darkest prison in the country, the other in the White House. That's interesting. It's interesting how history plays a role. And it says, okay, Tom, thanks. I'm an idiot. And the chat on justice is process sucks. I got blocked by two chicks in 10 minutes. Ah. Scared. 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 Right, and also, yeah, sometimes with with chats, sometimes people will do things with, sometimes people will do things with, they'll misunderstand things in a chat and they'll go in and block people, but, and you're always a great chat friend, so I don't, the two ladies that blocked you and some other chat, yeah, they don't have alien understanding. They don't have that. Well, it looks like they have liar's dice here too. They have quite a few of the liar's dice camps here. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like there's quite a bit of treasure in this region. Yes, you are misunderstood, yeah. And I've been misunderstood by people too. Also, yeah. But we understand you. We have the alien understanding. Exactly. You cannot please everyone. That is true. It is, basically, people are never. You're not going to make everyone happy. So I do think that it is important for people to understand that concept and just be yourself is the best way to go. Yeah, Tom. It's just there's a lot of cringe people in situations out there. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so basically, oh hello Abby. Hello, Abby. It's great to see you. Welcome. Abby says they couldn't compete with your coolness, Tom. They're lost. Exactly. They. Okay, Abby. Understood. About to go on a run, but just popped in to say hi, and I'll be back later after. Okay, Abby. Understood. And Anna says that's while there's only some 5 people there. I told them to block me instead of throwing crap at me. Scared. Okay. Yeah, shout out to the cool people. We got a lot of cool people here in general. Hey guys, and yeah, so basically, yeah, there's been a lot of people that I've like encountered through different parts online where they don't quite understand me and what I do, and I don't really allow it either. Like I just be myself because you can't make everybody happy. Okay, so I'm gonna do that move. Yeah, because with a lot of people these days, people get too sensitive with and misunderstand people rather than trying to understand what the other side is saying. I think that it's important to have communication that is healthy. You feel like James Dean. That's a cool movie, by the way. He was a good actor. You know, that was a good actor. Eh, yeah, so yeah, shout out to James Dean. Oh, he was a cool dude. Yeah, y'all are awesome and very cool. That people can't handle cool people sometimes, and they have to go and hate. They have Timu Sheen logic. Yeah, and it's unfortunate that James Dean he left so soon. When that accident happened. Exactly. People are offended or wishing to be offended. Accused of saying Melody Ferris was guilty, and I didn't even watch the trial. Scared. Oh yeah, I know. It's like people they think that they know everything, and sometimes people accuse others of doing things they didn't even do. Yeah, people are looking to be offended. Absolutely, I totally agree. And like we like to chill in here and have a good time, and like we all like know each other, understand each other. But other people they don't want peace. They want to have more conflicts and more trouble and problems. It's extremely unfortunate. And like I think that like a lot of people need to focus on their own failings and shortcomings before they accuse others of doing the same thing. So like a lot of people will have like snow on their step and they accuse someone else of having snow on someone else's step. So that's why I think that people got to not be so sensitive and about like people just being themselves, especially if somebody isn't doing anything wrong. And people are just saying an opinion in chat and stuff. I just think it's gotten quite out of hand. That's why I like our friend group because with our friend group, we like always understand each other and we're not acting a fool. Yeah, so shout out to y'all, and I appreciate y'all are the coolest chats on the internet. Yeah, very wise words, Tom. Definitely. Okay. Yeah, and this is one of the old pirate games of the Liar's Dice. It's one of my favorite games. Yeah, this is like a bar right here. Been quite interesting. I didn't really know about this as part that they had those at this part of the island. It was quite interesting. Okay. Yeah. So, and I think that with the trials, we'll see if Law and Crime shows more trials or not. It'll be interesting to see how that works out. You know, because they haven't, as I said, they haven't really been showing any trials in recent times. Oh, that's the stowaway thing. Okay, well, I'll do that for fun. A stowaway to let's go Tortuga. Hello, Aaron. It's great to see you. Welcome. Oh, Anna says she got blocked by somebody named Northwest and have no idea whatsoever, so I could have said. I know. I've never even seen that character before. Maybe they blocked me and I just didn't even know it. I've never seen that character before in the chat rooms. Yeah, and Aaron, it's great to see you. Welcome. I hope that you're having a good a good day so far. Good afternoon. Yeah, just yes, some people with their the blocking it just like some of these people that you don't even say anything to is just ridiculous. No, I wasn't in that stream, Aaron. I haven't been there at all. I didn't even know that they were live. All right, and Anna says, "Isn't there a kid named Grace that deleted the parents or something coming up?" Yes, I read about that yesterday. Actually, yes. I'll go bring that up and read it again. Let's see. It's in one of these browsers. Ah, okay. Must be in the other one. Yeah, but as I said, that is true. That is true. Yeah, and shout out to Trial TV Live. I think it's a good channel too. I like them also. Okay, let's see. If is it must be the other one. Okay. Yeah, we talked about that one the other day. Okay, let's see what we can learn about. I think it's Sarah Grace. I think that's probably it. Yes, Aaron, I told you about that channel, and I shot the Trial TV live. I liked them. A lot of them are come in here sometimes. I recommend the channel. It's a good channel to watch. You know, if there's something on like a trial or something, it's cool. Y'all watch that. Yeah, I haven't been there today, but I recommend that channel. It's cool. All right, let's see if this might be what we're talking about here. Sarah Grace. I think that might be it. I'm not really too sure. Because I remember there was something I was reading yesterday. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, yeah. That's it. I read that yesterday. Okay. I'm gonna go over it again as like a recap about it. Okay. Here we go. Georgia teen who raised awareness about the mother's stepfather's death on TikTok now charged with their murder. Georgia 17-year-old turned herself in after months of commenting on videos about her parents' deaths. Erin says she's stuck in her truck with three 11-year-old girls. Send help. Yeah. Scared. A teenage girl in Georgia is accused of murdering her mother and stepfather after she allegedly spent months raising awareness about their deaths on TikTok. 17-year-old Sarah Grace Patrick turned herself in on July 8 and is accused of deleting her mother, Christine Brooke, 41, and stepfather James Brock, rather. So it's Kristen Brock, 41, James Brock, 45. And Carroll County Sheriff's Office said in a press release, Patrick allegedly deleted her mother and stepfather on February 20 in their home in Carroll County, Georgia. Scared. Aaron scared. Carroll County Communications Director Ashley Hulsey said at the press conference that both parents were found deleted from the apparent gunshot wound on February 20. Husley said Patrick will be charged as an adult, as she was initially charged with 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault. Quote, "We don't know what goes through the mind of the child who wants to harm their parents," Husley said. "She's 17. She's kind of been on her own, and she's lived with different family members and moved all over the place." Okay, Anna, understood. Patrick herself made a 911 call, reported her that her parents were injured, Husley said. The communications director said that investigators have mountains of evidence against Patrick in this case, but declined to elaborate. Husley told Fox News Digital that Patrick operated a TikTok account with the username sgrace04282. And there's the affidavit. You know, that there's an affidavit that has been signed. All right, just going through that. Okay. The TikTok account is no longer online, but she made comments talking about her parents after their deletion on February 20. Fox News Digital obtained the screenshots from the crime influencer allegedly reported, which shows Patrick commenting on several of her videos. And, quote, "Thank you for spreading awareness," Patrick commented on a video. From an investigative standpoint, it would seem that it was someone who knew them, hoping for answers and swift justice, end quote, on one TikTok user wrote. Quote, "Most definitely was since they knew the house," Patrick responded. Huxley said that the saddest victim in this case is Brock's toddler, who is now parentless. A mother and stepfather will never be able to raise their children and little girl in that home, Huxley said. All right, so that is about this case in question. See something about Maxwell here. Let's see. Ah, there it is. Okay, Maxwell follows prison fitness routine video shows as DOJ Epstein memo draws heat. Alright, so basically regarding Maxwell, over here, we'll show this real quick. Let's see. This is Maxwell in her cell doing exercises. So, okay, it says Jeffrey Epstein continues to haunt the public conscience years after he was deleted while awaiting trial on 6 trafficking charges in federal jail in New York. He's been deleted since August 2019, but his convicted accomplice and former lover, Maxwell, has been quietly keeping fit in prison, exclusive new images show. Fox News spotted Maxwell jogging in the yard at a federal prison at Tallahassee Thursday evening. Alright, so that, she's even fanned the flames that claims that the federal government is wrong about the conclusion that he deleted himself in his cell in an interview with The Guardian from behind bars in 23. Quote, "What better way to argue that the system is fixed than to say you're a co-defendant was murdered by the system that's trying to put her in jail," asked Ralph Rice, Maryland attorney and legal analyst, said. And she's not the only one that, close to the former financier, turned into a file who believes in his deletion wasn't self-inflicted. His brother was vehemently rejects the official version of the events. Hello, Rita. It is great to see you. It is great to see you. I hope that you are doing well, and I'm glad to have you, tell us hello in chat. Hello. All right, and that is Maxwell doing the exercises, like just kind of like running. But the Justice Department and the FBI, in a memo last week, upheld that the findings that he hanged himself. The government also said he has no incriminating client list, and the additional files related to the case against him are not appropriate for the release. Here's a timeline of the case that continues to draw attention to public seeks. And yeah, Rita, I hope everything's been going good with you, and also your family as well. 2008, slap on the wrist. Epstein received the punishment of the 13 months of soliciting prostitution from the minor in Palm Beach, Florida, and the deal gained intense scrutiny years later after the Miami Herald uncovered the details about the crime so concerning that Florida. Hello, Duke. It's great to see you, buddy. Welcome. Oh, great. I'm delighted to hear. And shout out to you, Duke. I'm glad to see you. All right. Epstein received punishment of 13 months of soliciting prostitution from the minor in Palm Beach, Florida, and the deal gained intense scrutiny years later. Yeah, good to see you, Duke. Shout out to the chickens and the bison and the ice and all. Yeah, shout out to you, buddy. Okay, Aaron. See you later. Thank you for stopping by. Epstein received the punishment of 13 months for solicitation and prostitution from the minor in Palm Beach, Florida. The deal gained intense scrutiny years later after the Miami Herald uncovered details about the crime so concerning that the Florida lawmakers years later passed a bill that allows for the release of the secret grand jury files in certain cases. In court order authorizing the release of the documents, Circuit Judge Luis Delgado warned that the contents were disturbing and revealed the case involvement more underage victims than the known accuser. As well, he accepted that Epstein is a notorious and serial file at issue is deviant, disgusting, and criminal. The details and record will be outrageous to the decent people. July 6, 2019, arrest again, and the public fury over the Miami Herald report and the late investigation, and now the 6 trafficking charges involve dozens of victims and some as young as 14. The authorities arrested him at Teterboro Airport, New Jersey, connection with the trafficking cases in Florida and New York, the two states where he multi-million-dollar mansion. August 10, 2019, Epstein's deletion. Although he had pending bail appeal, authorities at the Metropolitan Detention Center in New York found him deleted in his cell with a sheet wrapped around his throat, hanging from the bunk bed. His death, officially ruled a suicide by hanging, but Epstein's brother, Mark, hired a renowned forensic pathologist, Dr. Michael Baden, to observe the official autopsy. He said that Fox News that at the time that 3 injuries to Epstein's throat were more consistent with homicidal strangulation than suicidal hanging. That is an interesting fact right there. Wow. Those 3 fractures are extremely unusual for self-deletion hangings and could occur much more commonly in homicidal strangulation, he said in 2019. I have not seen in 50 years where that occurred in a suicidal hanging. So there you go. That's an interesting thing that the forensics about it. These are scenes from Epstein's jail following his deletion. And he was having bail coming up, so he was going to be on his way out. Yeah, it looks suspicious, definitely. All right, July 2020, Maxwell was arrested. About a year later, the feds arrested Maxwell, Epstein's longtime lover, on charges that she procured the underage girls as part of the trafficking ring. She was convicted at trial, sentenced to 20 years, and is appealing. Her ongoing appeal could be the reason for the government to withhold additional evidence that hasn't already come out in court, legal experts say, but last week's memo didn't reference to her case. I remember yesterday a true crime was telling me that there might be some things with the Epstein case where if it's like being still investigated, I'm paraphrasing, if it's still investigated, it's possible that they might be withholding information to try to get people to they're trying to investigate it further, so maybe that's why they're not releasing some information. But the administration, I would hope, would be, if they are withholding things, be transparent about if there's anything being withheld, but maybe they can't say anything. But I feel that they could have presented the situation differently, because it's causing, it seems like it's backfiring on them now, with because all over the news and social media, this is a big deal with this case. Her ongoing appeal could be, yeah, okay, I read that. All right, that was Virginia and Prince Andrew, and he was doing creepy stuff with her, and you got these. Right, and Rita said they say there's 1 minute missing every day from the jail's video resetting, I guess. He wouldn't have known when that minute would be. I doubt if he deleted himself. Oh yeah, absolutely. I do not think that he deleted himself, in my opinion, and I think that he just knew too much information. He was going to get bail. He was, actively talking about different figures, different people, and as I said, there's nothing about Trump himself. He's talked about Trump before, and he was very close friends with Trump, but he is not nothing's come out about Trump being involved in this, but there is, of course, other people that are involved in these creepy things, and they don't want to get caught. And yeah, so I think that he was going to spill the beans on everybody, and they want to take him out. He seemed like he was either going to get bail, or he was going to, imagine now if he was out. If he was still alive, he would have exposed so many people, and it just would have been crazy. So, but now we're all left in the dark. So this is another reason with the Epstein thing, that him not being alive anymore is a reason why people are triggered, because they don't have the information about what occurred. And yes, regarding what you're talking about, there's this camera footage of his cell to show that there's nobody entering his cell. That's not really a sign, in my opinion, about anything, because they could have done it a different way. But I will say the video itself is very suspicious. It's very sus, as they say on the internet, because there's parts of it that have been chopped up, and it's been allegedly edited with Adobe Photoshop. So they took out, there's a piece of it missing, a minute missing from the jail's camera. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Allegedly, yes. And just like at Law and Crime, we learned that when I say alleged, when something's proven, it's true, right? So we say alleged. We know it's actually true, but we say alleged because that's how the legal talking. But yeah, anyway, so that is, yes, I've heard about that, Rita, and I do believe that they chopped it up, and they either took out the part where they went into Epstein's cell, and did whatever they did. Because I don't, and especially you hear that from a forensic analysis, that the strangulation was done by a homicide over a self-deletion. So there you go. There's the answer right there. In 50 years, the guy hasn't seen a situation, the forensic doctor has not seen a situation where somebody deletes themselves in that manner. So I do believe that he certainly did. Someone certainly deleted that guy because they didn't want him releasing information. Looks even more suspicious. Yeah. So as I said, and could there be something higher up above Trump that he doesn't know about that's withholding the information? Could they have been destroyed? because there's more than it's not just him and his administration. There's other people in there that we don't even know about. I'm sure it's like a spider web network of people, all kinds of different people in the shadows. It just I believe and have faith that one day we'll find out the truth. All right, but either way, this is going to be a very big blow right now with the administration not being transparent, allegedly not being transparent, or not doing it properly with regarding this information. Now, Prince Andrew in this picture is very creepy looking in his eyes. Now, sometimes people could look different with their eyes and stuff, but I think that Virginia. Shout out to Mary Toodles, and Virginia. She doesn't look bad, but Prince Andrew his eyes look weird. Like there's something wrong, like something not nice about him, and Maxwell also looks disturbing too. Like you see it in their eyes look weird. Something's off about them. I know after the fact, if we may have not have known this before, we would have maybe not have noticed it. A lot of people say it all the time, but I will say that they do look like suspicious looking, but Virginia looks fine. Like she doesn't look the one in the middle. She was a victim. So Virginia, she was a victim of Prince Andrew, and she also died by self-deletion. But we don't believe she really deleted herself. And she was also hit by a bus, and she thought that they were going after her. So it's not, she was also deleting herself. So yeah, these people aren't deleting themselves. Like I don't believe there's any ounce of truth to that, in my opinion. All right, the government could have worries about the prejudicing the appeal process by influencing public opinion on the appellate court. Rice said the government may also be concerned that releasing more information could taint the judicial process, which could strengthen her argument that the case has been politicized or improperly influenced by the media. That is like what True Crime was saying, that there could be some other reason why they're not releasing the files right now, but they may intend to release them later. But yeah, as I said, the way this was, and look, mistakes happen, no one's perfect, but if the intentions were in the right place, there could have been another way that it could have been handled, but look, there's hindsight 2020, but yeah, that may be a reason why they're withholding it. On January 24, court documents unsealed. A federal judge ordered that thousands of pages of the documents from a civil case brought by Epstein and Maxwell victims in Virginia were unsealed. The documents linked to dozens of prominent people in the entertainment business, politics, and the academia to Epstein. But it's not his criminal activities. The vast majority of these figures were not accused of wrongdoing. The few who had already been publicly linked to Epstein before documents been dumped. Her lawsuit, Maxwell's public trial, played major roles in the bringing of much of the known information about Epstein to light. In February 25, new Attorney General weighs in on the situation. Attorney General Pam Bondi said in a televised interview with Fox News that she had a stack of Epstein-related files on her desk, waiting for review before they could be released to the public. On July 2025, review is complete, but few details emerge. Last week, the Justice Department and FBI released a joint memo announcing the review had been complete. However, the documents revealed that barely any new information. The authorities said that most of the unreleased files pertain to minors or the victims who appear to be minors, and that more of 10,000 videos and images, including illegal content, that would not be released. Okay, so the illegal content would not be released. The government published hours of surveillance video that the authorities said support the conclusion that Epstein deleted himself, but also missing window due to the flaw in the system raising new questions. As part of, so this is from the U.S. Department of Justice and Federal Bureau of Investigation. As part of the commitment to transparency, the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation have conducted an exhaustive review of the investigative holdings relating to the database, the hard devices and network drives, as well as the physical searches for the squad area locked in the cabinets and desks and closets and other areas where responsive material may have been stored. These searches uncovered a significant amount of material, including more than 300 gigabytes of data and physical evidence. The files relating to the Epstein, including the large volumes of images, videos of victims who are either underage or appear to be that, and over 10,000 downloads of videos, images of illegal content. In terms of the agents, analysts, attorneys, that privacy and civil liberty experts comb through the digital documents of evidence with the aim of providing as much information as possible to the public while simultaneously protecting the victims. Much of the material subject to court ordering the scaling on a fraction of the material would have been aired publicly had Epstein gone to trial. Exactly. The seal served only to protect the victims and did not expose any additional third parties' allegations, illegal wrongdoings. Though the review, we found no basis on the revisits of the disclosure of those materials and release of the illegal content. Hello there, Ali B. Welcome to the stream. It is nice to have you here. It's always lovely to see you. And here, I always give a wrench to those I know on YouTube through live streams and stuff that I'm cool with. So there you go. Welcome to the Mod Squad. It's just as a thank you for being here. I do it with everybody that I've known on YouTube. I give them a wrench. And shout out to you, Ali B. I hope that you're doing well. I always enjoy seeing you in the chats over at the trial chats, and always very sweet. Sweet as honey. Right. And against the unchanged parties. Consistent with the prior disclosure, this review confirmed that Epstein harmed over 1,000 victims. Each suffered unique trauma, sensitive information relating to the victims interviewed throughout various materials. Oh yes, yes. I'm glad that you're able to finally catch a stream. Yes. I'm glad you're able to make it. This includes the specific details such as the victims' names and the likeness and physical descriptions, places of birth, associates, and employment history. One of our highest priorities is combating the child exploitation and bringing justice to victims. Perpetuating and unfounded theories about Epstein's serves neither of those ends. To the end, while have labored to provide the public with maximum information regarding Epstein and ensured examination, any evidence of the government's possession, it is the determination and documentation of Justice and Federal Bureau of Investigation had no further disclosure would be appropriate or warranted. Yeah, and I talk about all kinds of, like, the reason why the stream's eclectic. I talk about various things on the streams, like randoms, kind of like a bunch of different things, and news and trials, and we are reviewing the big thing in the news about Epstein. And I see you, Duke. I know it's a lot of stuff is suspicious, but with the Epstein situation. So with the Epstein thing, it's all over social media and all over the news. There's been a large public outrage over this situation, and it has, over the past few days, it's only escalated, and it's going to continue to escalate, in my opinion. So we are doing continuous coverage on this, as well as different things as well. I play a pirate game, like, while I kind of do it in the beginning, and then as the stream goes on, I do other things. Sometimes I do the game itself. So I do a variety of different things. Of course, I talk about aliens and different planets and stuff like that too. All right. After a thorough investigation, the FBI investigators concluded that Jeffrey Epstein committed self-deletion, which that means suicide, which of course I don't believe that he deleted himself. I think that someone else homicided him. At the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City on August 10, 2019. Thanks, Allie. Thanks. And suicide in his cell, and also I say this kind of I say scared when something's kind of like scary or disturbing. I've said like scared, and people really think it's hilarious when I say that. So it's a catchy thing that you may have seen the chats we say, but that is where it comes from. In his cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City on August 10, 2019, this conclusion is consistent with previous findings, including August 19, 2019 autopsy, findings of the New York City office of the chief medical examiner, the 2019 position of the U.S. Attorney's Office in Southern District of New York is conducted with investigations of federal correctional officers responsible for guarding Epstein, and June 23, which is 2023, conclusions of DOJ's office and the Inspector General. The conclusion of Epstein was deleted also is a word for died. It's like a code word we use in YouTube. It's not necessary, but another YouTuber I learned a lot from used to say, he would say deleted instead of died, but so that I got in the habit of saying it. It's okay to say died though. The conclusion is that Epstein deleted by suicide further supported the video footage from the common area of the special housing unit SHU where Epstein was housed at the time of his deletion. As DOJ's Inspector General explained in 2023, anyone entering or attempting to enter the tier where Epstein's cell was located from SHU common area would have been captured by this footage. The FBI's independent review of the footage confirmed that from the time Epstein was locked in his cell to around 10:40 p.m. on August 9, 2019 until 6:30 a.m. the next morning, nobody entered any of the tiers in that SHU. But as we talked about, the footage shows that there's been parts of it that have been cut. Allegedly. So if it's been cut, they could have cut a scene out of it. Or they did it a different way. Or they did it the day before. And, you know, there's all kinds of things they could have done to make it look like to masquerade the trick that they did. Yeah, and oh, hello Abby, it's great to see you. Welcome back. During this review, the FBI enhanced the relevant footage by increasing the contrast of the balancing color and improving the sharpness. To greater clarity and viewability, the full raw enhanced videos are available on the following links. They have some links to the files. Yeah, it's great. It's great to have you back, Abby. Facts. I hope you had a good time. and glad that you're with us now again. The memo also revealed that the memo that revealed that Epstein had more than 1,000 victims, far more than previously known. The 2019 indictment alleged that he had trafficked dozens of young women and girls. A victim's compensation fund paid by his estate sent millions to more than 150 accusers. Details about the hundreds of additional victims remain unclear. The FBI declined to comment. Wow, this is so, that is quite a bit of people, and if it's 1,000 victims, I'm sure there's more than that were involved with something nefarious, definitely. So, in details about the hundreds of additional victims remain unclear. The FBI declined to comment. Rice, however, urged caution when reading into the raw number. And that is Maxwell doing a run, exercise in prison. All right, so the number of victims can grow when you start thinking about the actual victims' family members, mom and dad, brothers and sisters, and all of a sudden you can triple a quadruple list of victims, he said, and Maxwell 63 due to release in 2037. Epstein's been passed away since 2019, but the saga continues. All right. And, as a little review, it's a timeline of what happened during the events. So, of what occurred during the Epstein saga. And so, 2017, around when I was graduating high school in 2017, he was doing interviews and talking about his experience with Trump and different stuff like that. And 2019, when he was incarcerated, he was supposed to be released he's going to, on bail, and he was going to, I remember this when it was going on, he was going to release the names. He was going to talk. And then he deletes himself. I mean, the timing of that couldn't have been hilarious, more just ironic. Just, the dude was going to talk, and then he took him out. Or he deleted himself. And then Virginia, which was she was with, and this is a scene from the cell, Epstein's cell, where he deleted himself, but we know that he most likely was assisted in his self-deletion by somebody else. Like all of that, you see all those blankets and sheets all over the place. Looks like a fight happened or something. I mean, and the analysis that was his brother, so Epstein's brother did an analysis, had somebody do an analysis on his autopsy, and that it was most likely from a homicide rather than a self-deletion. That's what the person concluded, because he hired an independent investigator to do it. And yeah, the three breaks on his neck were not in 50 years were seen from a self-deletion case. So there you go. It seems that through a correct autopsy that somebody did it for him. And in 2020, Maxwell was arrested, and that's what Virginia, we talked about her before. She was one of the victims that was very vocal, and she also deleted herself allegedly, but it's not really true. Someone else did it. She was also hit by a bus. So I mean, getting hit by a bus, it's like really like and these things are just so cringe. So there's theories that the reason why they're not releasing more information because it's still under investigation, and they need to, maybe they'll release them later. But I just feel the way that this administration said they're going to release stuff and there's nothing there, it's not really a good look. Yeah, and people are really confused about what's going on. And people have a lot of questions. We all have questions, and like they'll say that it's not an important matter, and there's other things going on. It's not about it being important or not. It's about a reputation. Like we talk about, like there's like a reputation and you're of a country, and you got these people doing these creepy things in your country, and you're supposed to be the top country on the planet that everyone's looking at. And like if it was like some country on an island somewhere, or the Philippines, well, the Philippines and Thailand actually have a lot of shady stuff going on. But if you're some little country that no one knows about, but if you're the United States and that your country had people doing these things and they said they're going to release it and they're not going to release it, it's not a good look for the country, regardless of political stance. And people, I would say my opinion on both sides of the political spectrum are upset about this because it makes the country look stupid. So people are more concerned about it because of the reputation it has. Because like if you say you're going to do something and you do it, so I don't know all the ins and outs. This is still unfolding. We have to wait to see what the end result is. But yeah, all over social media and all over the news, a lot of heat is taken from this, and it's trending on X. It's trending on everywhere. It's, as I said, it's like one of the biggest things of this year so far. It's quite wild. And then there was the Diddy trial that happened, and a lot of people are not happy about that, and they feel that these people at the top have some either special privileges or can afford to get themselves out of a situation where someone else wouldn't. So there seems to be a long escalation of different things going on, and it's not ending anytime soon. And on January 2024, the documents were unsealed, and that is one of the victims that also deleted themselves, but they didn't. And then in 2025, the new attorney general, they weighed in on it, and there was a review complete. So in July 2025, the review was complete, but just few details were emerging. Not really much information was coming out. Same thing with the JFK and 9/11 files. There wasn't really people are not getting the information. They're just getting the same information over and over again. All right. And then there was the document from the U.S., from the FBI, and they were talking about the transparency and that there was a lot of, over 1,000 victims and a lot of illegal content from Epstein that they were able to acquire that wouldn't ever be released to the public. They concluded that he deleted himself, although we don't think that's true. And then you have Maxwell. Maxwell believes that he did not delete himself, and many other people don't think that. And they're, so, and that is basically like a summary of what we talked about the past few the past for the in this time period. All right. Yeah, so it's drawing a lot of heat. A lot of heat. Alright. And this is the little game that I play, the pirate game. Alright. Yeah, so this is my pirate ship. Right here. Yeah, so they have, and this is the ship kind of floating around, and you see you have the rose, and you have the purple sails that I put there. Yeah, so you just kind of go over here and fire at some ships, and you get treasure. That's kind of like how the game works. But there's other exceptions sometimes where you can board the other ship, and these are like non-player character ships. Now, with the Epstein situation, yeah, there's a lot of heat going on about it with the administration and the movement, and Trump's support. It has been very divided, and there seems to be like a civil war going on over it. And every day, as I said, it seems to be escalating more and more. Just there's not like an easy answer to for that situation. All right, so you have right, and you could get crews. This game is very good at multiplayer because you have different people. It's like YouTube kind of, but where you have different people on and they could join your ship and you can fight enemies and stuff. So it's good to have the different friends and stuff that you could either help them or they could help you. But it is very cool to go to different islands and explore the different things. Yes, that is true. Prince Andrew is involved. He was doing some stuff with Virginia, this a victim like we talk. So Virginia, she was assaulted by him and Epstein, and yeah. So yes, Prince Andrew is one of them. Absolutely. And he is a disgraced member of the royal family, obviously. And I will like review, like just basically give you like a summary about like what he did exactly. Okay. Okay. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Here we go. There we go. Here we go. Right here. Yeah, here we go. It's going to be loading right now. There we go. All right, Virginia. Oh, you're 9 minutes behind. Scared. You're 9 minutes behind. Scared. And Abby, it's okay, Abby. You didn't do anything wrong. It just the technology glitches. But thank you. Okay, so did they say with the ruling of Virginia's suicide that they really weird? She kept saying that she wasn't suicidal. Abby, in my opinion about Virginia, is that she was deleted by the powers that be, whatever they are, the Epstein gang. So it was ruled a suicide, a self deletion, but she was not suicidal, and she's an activist that was helping abuse victims, and she was going to again expose and testify what happened. And then the same with Epstein. This dude literally was like he was going to go and expose what was going on. And then guess what? He deletes himself. It's like the mafia. Like this reminds you of stuff from like the mafia allegedly did or something like this. Like it's too shady, and I'm sure they're probably involved in it, in my opinion too. I guess I don't know. And basically, with her, she got hit by a bus too. And Abby says it's like the freaking whistleblowers from Boeing. Yes, absolutely. And also, what happened? Yeah, exactly. It's like right when someone's going to expose something, it's like you feel me like, what are we doing here? It's like you're going to go and conceal the information, and then you're going to expose what's going on. Then, bam, self deletion. Exactly. That's what it looked like to me too. That they had an attack. You know, definitely. Like they certainly beat her up. Yeah. And she was saying that she claimed that they were going to try to go and delete her. And with that situation, I think that it is extremely specific that she was saying that they were going to go after her, and that you're okay.
Yeah, I almost fell. I slipped in flea spray.
Yeah, it is slippery.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
So what happens is with the Epstein situation that Virginia was claiming that they were going to try to delete her, and she was an activist for abuse victims, and was she said in detail like a graphic warning for everybody that Epstein was not wearing anything, and she massaged him. And then other things happened, and this happened, and also Prince Andrew is was the one that did stuff. Yeah, it was a bus. Yeah, these people and the things they come up with. I think that yeah, like with the bus, it's absolutely cringe. Where I don't, it's like a bus hit her. Really, it's like I think that she got attacked. Hello, Miranda. It's great to see you. Oh yeah, Miranda, we're cooking with this Epstein stuff. Yeah, we're really getting deep into it. And yeah, she passed away 2 months ago. As I said, I think that someone took her out. Just like with Epstein, bro was like he was going to talk more, and guess what? He's gone. It's like a magic trick. Darn, it's and now it's backfiring. People are angry. Now I'm going to do is read about. We're going to talk about how Prince Andrew was involved with this. All right. Virginia said the plaintiff and Epstein. I'm fuming at the Epstein crap, and yeah, hello, Abby. Yeah, and Virginia, plaintiff of the Epstein and Prince Andrew in the sex trafficking case, is dies at 41. Rest in peace to her. This story includes discussion of self deletion or someone. Okay, Virginia, who accused Britain's So Virginia, who accused Britain's Prince Andrew and other influential men of sexually exploiting her as a teenager and trafficked by financier Jeffrey Epstein, as she has been deleted, or I'll say has passed away, and she was 41. Miranda said the bus situation she made a post about, and she said the person in the bus was going so fast it was like a bullet type thing, a total setup and to try and delete her. Yeah, I agree. And Virginia, and they say that Virginia passed away by suicide Friday at her farm home 2 months ago in Western Australia. Her publicist confirmed. Virginia was a fierce warrior and fight against sexual abuse and sex trafficking. She was the light that lifted so many survivors, and her family said that in a statement. Despite all the adversity and she faced in her life, she shone so bright. She will be missed beyond measure. Her publicist, Denny von Muffling, described Virginia as deeply loving and wise and funny. She adored her children and many animals, and she always was more concerned with them than herself. Von Muffling wrote in a statement, I will miss her beyond words. It was the privilege of a lifetime to represent her. The American-born Virginia, who lived in Australia for years, became an advocate for sex trafficking survivors and emerging as a central figure in Epstein's prolonged downfall. The wealthy and well-connected New York money manager deleted himself in August 2019 while awaiting trial on U.S. federal sex trafficking charges that involved dozens of teenage girls and young women in some of them ages 14, and claimed that 14 years after the Palm Beach, Florida first began investigating, alleged that he sexually abused underage girls and were hired by him to massage. The fact that she would have to say she wouldn't hurt herself over and over is just sick. Oh yeah, exactly. It reminds me of like there's a Twilight Zone episode. The name kind of slipped my mind, but it's one of my favorites. Where there is this dude from Eastern Europe that was in one of the communist countries was trying to come over to New York City, and this group of these agents are trying to delete him, and they set a booby trap in his room, and he could leave if he figured out how to dismantle it. And yeah, that was a very good episode, and that's like what this stuff reminds me of, like this, like or like what the mob and stuff did to people allegedly. It's like real cliche, but that's what these people are acting like that are doing this. Miranda said she made so many posts. I'm sure she knew one day that would succeed at making her go away. Yeah, but it backfired because the people, there are more. The people are like the water, and like a body of water, and the movement is like these koi fish from China, from Asia. If the conditions of the water are right, you will have, no matter how few of the fish there are, they will be successful and have victory if the conditions of the water are right. And the water is like the people. So we, the people, the conditions of the water are right, that we are not accepting the mainstream narrative about the self-deletion of Virginia and Epstein when they were trying to expose what was going on. After Epstein was going to expose them, and after what he did, right, and then they delete him, and then she was going to expose him, they delete them. So we the people are not accepting it, right? And Miranda said sorry. She knew that they would get her eventually, so she made warning to us. Yes, she did. She did. And she's in a better place now, and she did warn us, and I'm glad she warned us because they were after her. They were certainly trying to take her out, and they eventually succeeded. And Virginia came forward publicly after the initial investigation ended at 18-month Florida jail term for Epstein, who made a secret deal to avoid federal prosecution to pleading guilty instead of relatively minor state-level charges of soliciting prostitution, and he released in 2009. Rita, I totally agree that it has to be very terrible that somebody living in constant fear and knowing that one day they're going to be taken out by these people. Yeah, it's like they're like predators, literally predators. It's like chasing an antelope or something. That's what they are. Yeah, it's like living in a cartel family. Yeah, definitely. In the subsequent lawsuit, Virginia said that she was a teenage spa attendant at Mar-a-Lago and President Trump's Palm Beach Club when she was approached in 2000 by Epstein's girlfriend and later employee of Maxwell. I believe Epstein was banned from Trump's place, from that place when he was found as uh, when he was convicted of SA. Epstein was banned from there. Maxwell hired her as a measure for Epstein, but the couple effectively made her a sexual servant, pursuing her into gratifying not only in Epstein but his friends and associates. She said, and she was flown around the world for assignments with men, including Prince Andrew, while she was 17, 18. So Prince Andrew was one of the people that were assaulting her. Amen, Abby. That may she rest in peace. Yes. But many parts of her story were supported by the documents witnessed by testimony of photos, including one of her and Andrew with his arm around her bare midriff in Maxwell's London townhouse. Virginia said in one of her lawsuits that she had sex with the royal 3 times. So she did that with the Prince Andrew 3 times in London during the 2001 trip at Epstein's New York mansion when she was 17 and in the Virgin Islands when she was 18. Miranda said, Abby, amen. She passed away in Australia, is what I heard. It makes seem like all the movies are real. The black web gorillas. They have assassins, gang members, and probably high profile like the movies. Yeah, definitely. And Miranda said, and Virginia said that Jeffrey Epstein took her to the restroom to grape her. Yeah, that's true. Yes. Anna said, Abs, I called Prince Andrew Philip. Yeah. She called Prince Andrew Philip earlier, hanging with Epstein. Philip was the Queen's old hubby. Yeah. Uh, Prince Andrew's actually pretty. Prince, not. I'm getting mixed up now. Prince Philip was actually seems like he was a pretty cool dude, and also Prince Philip was very nice to Diana. Now another thing that happened was there. Speaking of the royals, there is suspicions that Princess Diana may have been intentionally deleted for some reason, and that was basically what occurred with with Diana, that there's conspiracies that she was deleted by them, and now you got Prince Andrew doing stuff. So, but Prince Philip was always nice to Princess Diana. He was the nicest one to her. Yeah, Prince Philip was, from what I hear, a very cool dude. But some of these other ones are real creepy. Miranda, I hated getting raped when I was 14. Scared. Scared. And I think it's extremely evil for people to do this stuff to the children. Like Jesus said that anybody that hurts a child, should be have a boulder tied around their neck and throw them into the lake. Throw them to the water. And let them drown. Yeah, so hurting children, I think, is universally accepted as something evil. And Maxwell said, I want you to do for him what you do for Epstein. That's what she said. Yeah. Scared. Oh, hello, Remy. It's great to see you. Welcome to the chat, Remy. I'm glad to have you with us. Scared. Scared. Right. And I'm not accusing the royal family of doing that to Diana, but there's like my uncle thinks that it doesn't mean that it was someone specific. It's just that there could be assassins or something that could have had something to do with it allegedly. But I'm not against the royal family, like in the sense that I thought the Queen was nice. There's controversy around Prince Charles, but I'm not really, he seems like he's okay, but. There's now with Diana though. There's been he may have not have handled that situation correctly, and with Diana it seems. But yeah, the people whoever took her out, were probably assassins or something allegedly. But I don't. The mainstream narrative is that it was paparazzi and she was in a high speed chase and they crashed into a wall. Yeah. Hey, great to see you all. Yeah. Right. So. Yes, Miranda, the prince was involved with Virginia. That is true. It's basically saying that she did stuff with the prince 3 times, allegedly, and she also was told by Maxwell, the wife or the lover, whatever it is, to Epstein, to do for the prince what she does for Epstein. Yeah, so definitely. Yeah, but Prince Philip, as I said, he was a gentleman from what I hear. But Prince Andrew's the one that is in his creepy stuff. His denials blew up in his face during a November 2019 BBC interview. Saw the prince who offered the curious rebuttals, such as disputing Virginia's recollection of sweaty dancing by saying he was medically incapable of perspiring and showed no empathy for the women who said Epstein abused them. Within days of the interview, Andrew stepped down from his royal duties. He settled with Virginia in 2022 for the undisclosed sum. Oh, okay. You met the prosecutor for your case today. Oh, okay. And thank you, Abby, for the update. We hope everything works out well for you with your situation. Unclosed sum. Agreeing to make a substantial donation to her survivors organization. A statement filed in court said that the prince acknowledged that Epstein was a sex trafficker and Virginia is an established victim of abuse. She also filed, and in at least some cases, settled the lawsuits against Epstein and others connected to him. In one case, she dropped her claims against prominent U.S. attorney, saying that she might have erred in identifying him as one of the men whom Epstein supplied her. Epstein self-deletion, which I don't believe was a self-deletion, put an end to his accusers' hopes of holding him criminally accountable. And then we got a situation. Let's see what's going on, chat. All right, so sorry, Abs wasn't saying grape is a joke for graped. Didn't mean to downplay it. Oh yeah, Remy. Miranda mentioned black web gorillas. She mentioned that. Scared. And Anna says she's in deep doo doo again. Oh Lord. And Abby says, no, you're fine. I just can't joke about it. That's the only way that can talk about it. But I like to make people laugh and party. Just checked out the POTUS IG, and well, we all are telling Trump he's crooked. He's cooked. Release the list. Facts. Okay, chat. So, graped. That comes from one of the other YouTubers I've learned about. I learned stuff from. Instead of saying the other word, we say graped instead of the other word. And also, I think you could say it on YouTube, but a lot of people say it this a different way. Hey, Frog, good to see you, buddy. Welcome to the chat, bro. And Abby said, I can be in the tape or the cameraman. The cameraman always survives. And, oh yeah, that is right, Abby. They always do survive. And, and by the way, the gorillas are assassins, gang members. You order the black web. Yes. Right. And yeah, Abby, absolutely. I'll go for it. And Remy's just messing. Yeah, Remy's just messing. It's like, well, it's too much. Hilarious chat. Y'all are funny. And Grape Gorillas are assassins members. You know what we need to get the... So yes, Abby, you could be involved in it. And also with the cameraman too, because we want you to survive, Abby, so we'll have you as the cameraman. And yeah, there you go. and basically, yeah, just messing around. And then you have that. So yes, indeed. So that's what we're gonna call the next tape. The next freak off, the next spaceship freak off will be called that. Definitely, we're gonna have a wild time. Scared, scared. All right. And Maxwell was convicted in 2021 on the federal sex trafficking and conspiracy charges and was sentenced to 20 years in prison. And she said she wasn't to blame for the Epstein abuse. Prosecutors elected not to include Guthrie's, which is Virginia's allegations and Maxwell case, but Virginia later told the court that British solicit had opened the door into Hill. Miranda says, I found out that the gorillas were because of people called them sleeves, silverback gorillas, and gangs, and great music in the ages. Miranda, I can't resist sometimes, Remy says, but you know, I think you're lovely. Oh, that's very sweet, Remy. Yeah. Shout out to all of you, the greatest chats on the internet. Yeah. The black web is kind of cool, not gonna lie. Yeah, facts. Anna says, Alien, your guy on a video looks depressed. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm gonna help my dude. Alright. This is what we're gonna do for our bro. Okay? Let's make the bro happy. Okay, he's happy now. Yeah, we all love Remy and everybody else here, and Miranda and Abby. Yeah, it keeps the jokes going. It's very funny. Yeah. Scared. Scared. Oh, we're gonna do this. Watch this. Maxwell was convicted in 2021 on federal sex trafficking and conspiracy charges and was sentenced to 20 years in in prison. And she said she wasn't to blame for Epstein's abuse. Prosecutors elected not to conclude that Virginia's allegations in Maxwell's case, but Virginia later told the court that British solicitor had opened the door to Hale. Oh. Remy said she's going to upload her pic today, but she got scared. Rita says that he dances better than she does. Oh, okay. Yeah, a pirate got himself some moves. Yeah. He's dancing a jig. And I'm here like a deleted fly, kind of struggling, but I'm dangling along. This Epstein shit has the mental health fudged up. Oh yeah, yeah, upload it, Remy. Oh, we would love to see it. Miranda said, Abby, I was considering finding the ones that can order to send people shit in the box literally, or like pop in a fire their door steps so I can't. Oh well. Yeah. You're welcome, Remy. All right. Maxwell was convicted in 2021 for federal sex trafficking and conspiracy charges and was sentenced to 20 years in prison. And she said that she wasn't to blame for the abuse. Prosecutors elected not to include Virginia's allegations in Maxwell case, and Virginia later told the court and British solicitor had opened the doors to Hale. Virginia born, and her birth name was Virginia Roberts, told the interviewers that her childhood was shattered when she was sexually abused as a grade schooler by a man and her family knew that she later ran away from home and endured more abuse, she said. Thank you, Remy. Thank you. We are spaceship special. And you're special as well, Remy. And she said that she met her now husband in 2002 while talking to massage therapists training in Thailand, which Thailand is a place there's a lot of conspiracies where there's illicit activities going on there and the Philippines. She said that she met her own husband in 2002. Okay, and Virginia found an advocacy for charity in the SOAR in 2015. Virginia separated from her husband and children this year, and she had been charged with breaching a family violence restraining order over the incident in February and was set to appear in court in June in the city of Perth, where his estranged husband and children live. She has had yet to enter a plea in the charges, a conviction that would have carried potential maximum sentencing of the 2 years in prison. Miranda said, "Where I live, there's a Jeffrey Epstein ranch, and people have been near and filmed it, and it's abandoned." Oh wow, wow, that is crazy. I would be that like that would be crazy to see that the images of that. Wow. Scared, scared, skirt, ski-aired, skirt. Virginia was hospitalized after the serious accident, and her publicist said that last month she didn't answer questions at the time and date, location, and nature of the specifics of the accident. About the accuracy of an Instagram post appeared to come to Virginia, and the post said that she had been in a car that was hit by a school bus, and her prognosis was desire. It's in New Mexico, and you can look it up. There's drone pics of it. It's very creepy. Yeah, I hope it gets knocked down, definitely. Yeah. And McCauley, an attorney for the Virginia, said that in the statement that her courage published me to fight harder, and her strength was awe-inspiring in the world and has lost an amazing human being today. Rest in peace, my sweet angel. The AP does not identify people who say they were victims of sexual assault unless they have come forward to publicity. Got blocked by 2 or 3 people. Oh yeah, I remember that. And Miranda said, "Remy, even watching people I knew film on YouTube bothers me. Thinking about what happened to so cringe, but it's clinching. Scared. Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, let's see if his ranch is for sale. Epstein Ranch, New Mexico. Wow. Oh yeah, I see it right here. All right, there it is, right here. Scared. Yeah, Epstein Ranch, New Mexico. Yeah, here it is in New Mexico. The ranch. Scared. So Jeffrey's Epstein's New Mexico ranch enlists for 27.5 million. All right, this is another image of it. Epstein's 7,500 acre New Mexico ranch. And it says looks like Mar-a-Largo. Scared. And Miranda says she wonders why no one wants it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so then there's like a crop circle looking thing they have there. I don't know what that was for. It looks like a college. Yeah, it looks like a Sheen college from Sheen. Ah, okay, Remy. Understood. And then you have the Epstein's New Mexico ranch. That's the interior of it. And that's Epstein in the center. And yeah, you have that right. You see, they have the globe, and you have like this different designs and stuff. And it's like you throw all that away to go do some creepy stuff. Really, like he could have still been alive now. There could have been a force for good, but he chose to be, the what he did. Oh yeah, it's terrible what happened. With the people that were hurt. And Remy says, "Abby, where are you at?" She might be. Uh, I think she's probably still here. Maybe she like went and maybe doing some other things and is listening to it. All right, so there's some other exclusive pictures of the ranch. All right, so I don't know. Let's go here. Let's see if you get some pictures. I don't know. I felt like a 10-year-old for a second when I was like, let's look at some pictures. All right, so that's the wrong picture. We're trying to move. We're trying to move this Timu thing right here. Come on. All right, there we go. I had to lay down the law. Oh, okay. I'm scared. All right, here's some other pictures of the ranch. All right, so Epstein was he was talented with physics and math. That's why I have a picture of him with a chalkboard behind him, and he was a teacher with that stuff. Skirt. Hello, Libby. Good to see you. Welcome. And all right, so then you have that right there with the the ranch. Yeah, good to see you, Libby. Yeah, so that is Epstein's ranch right there. Disturbing artifacts like a sculpted of naked kid and painting of a naked baby in a bath, etc. Scared. All right, let's find some info about it. In a whip made of bone. All right. Jeffrey Epstein's New Mexico ranch has gotten another drastic price cult. After nearly 11 and a half years of the market, the ranch is now been slashed by the 9.5 million total of the Post has learned. The estate was first went up for sale in 2021 and the 27.5 million before taking a 6 million price cut in July last month, and the home was given yet to another 3 million price reduction, and ill-fated ranch now sits on 18 million. Skirt. Okay, continuing. It was a different story for his New York City townhouse, which previously sold for nearly 50 million in March 21, and his Palm Beach mansion, which sold for 18 million and was later demolished in April of the same year. Meanwhile, in March, his two former Caribbean island, collectively dubbed the Thriophile Island for the atrocities that took place there, was listed for sale at 1.25 million and have not been on the market as long as. However, in June, the price dropped to 12% and 110 million. Scared, 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 scared. Ski aired. It should be demolished. No one would buy that. It's been for sale for years. Right. Meanwhile, in March, his two former private Caribbean islands, collectively dubbed the and thus all the money from the sale of his properties is expected to go to resolving outstanding lawsuits and costs of the estate's operations. Daniel Weiner or Weiner is an attorney for Epstein's estate. Previously told the Post. Son of a ball sack. Son of a ball sack. My toilet clogged. Someone send me the fire marshal at hazmat team. Yes. Well, they'll be coming on their way. Meanwhile, in March, the former private Caribbean islands, collectively dubbed the Three File Islands, atrocities took place there, were listed at the sale of 125 million and have been on the market as long. However, in June, the price dropped to 12% on 110 million. Thus, so far, that the money from the sale of his properties is expected to go into resolving outstanding lawsuits and costs in the estate's operations. And Daniel Weiner, an attorney for Epstein's. Oh, I'm laughing again. Oh God. Estate previously told the Post, quote, the proceeds from the sale are expected to be used for the estate's regular administration, include that the payment of the taxes and creditors to the claimants. Weiner said. All right, so we got some pictures. All right, this is one of the views. And that's one right there. And she said, Rita, I'm kidding. Sometimes I pray to God before I use because I'm broken multiple times. Scared. Yeah, shout out to the wieners, to the hot dogs. Scared. Yeah, exactly. Wiener dogs and meat. It's like the all kinds of the girthy hot dogs, the big wieners, and so there you go, all of them. Yeah, exactly. Chili cheese wieners. I like the see. I think that wieners of mayonnaise and with those pickles, that pickle stuff, with ketchup and mustard, yeah, that is very good. All right, so yeah, that's another view of the house. Like that's like the backyard. So you have is imagine giving up all that to go do some creepy stuff. It's cringe. All right, so you have that there, and some other pictures of it. All right, this is the interior. Yeah, this is the interior. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We shouldn't talk about how they're made because that's gonna open a can of worms, a can of Timu Sheen worms. And then you got that. All right, so that's one of the hallways, and you got this library, this like Victorian-looking library with the culture. You got the globe. You got all kinds of different books and stuff in there. Oh, Libby, that's delicious. That's delicious. Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice, Maxwell, former New Hampshire hideaway, has listed for 2.5 million. Now that COVID 2019 travel restrict this is okay, so this is from the past, but anyway. Now that the COVID-19 well, I'm not supposed to say that probably, but I could say the coup from 2019 travel restrictions have begun to ease. This unique property should be more easily accessible to the greater number of potential purchasers. Weiner added. Weiner added. But it doesn't appear that anyone that wants to invest in New Mexico property would, with its corrupt past. Abby said when in middle school I called myself Jeff. Scared. But it doesn't appear that anyone wants to invest in a New Mexico property with its corrupt past. Over the years, the woman came out accusing New York-based financier of sexual abusing them at his at his New Mexico ranch. Though he was never charged with the crime in the state, the compound has been painted as intriguing for his alleged sex trafficking operations by multiple women who claim that they were trafficked, raped at the ranch. Epstein was allegedly committed self-deletion in prison, which he didn't. Someone else deleted him in 2019. Also, reportedly has plans to make the property a baby-making factory where he would inseminate victims. Computer scientist and writer Jaron Lanier told the New York Times that he once spoke to a scientist to relate it how Epstein's goal to have 20 women at a time impregnated at the 33,000 square foot property named Zorro Ranch and located outside the Santa Fe. All right, this is another entrance. Wow, I mean, that is looks like a royal palace right there. Overlooking the New Mexico landscape, and then you have the. Hello, Sam. It's great to see you. I'm glad you're able to make it. And also, okay, so I have the game in another window, but we're looking at the Epstein thing right now. But so basically, this is my character dancing around while I do this other thing. All right. So there you got that, and that's actually a window I don't really use much, but this is the one we're using right now. Once told a male teacher that I have bigger balls, and when he said stop, I asked if he wanted to compare principal's office. Lord. And Abby says, for real, when I went through a time where I thought I was trans, okay, but my dad was giving me the illegal drugs and steroids where I included so I had bad rage in school and thought I was a dude. Oh my goodness. Scared. Oh Lord. Sam, yep. Libby, I have quite the upbringing. Yeah, that's quite an upbringing. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, so this is Epstein's. This is like a. It looks like a dining room, and you got the chandeliers and the white tile, the white floor with the purple squares. Yeah, that is quite the floor. That is quite a place. Spanning a colossal 760,000 acre 7,600 acre ranch. The centers on a ground three stories, four-bedroom main house, as well as a nearby caretaker's residence. Additional structures include a grass airstrip and a hangar are also part of the ranch. Along the amenities are stable as firehouse and a yurt. Yeah, we're glad that it looks too expensive. Yeah, exactly, Abby. And yeah, Abby, we are glad that you're with us and you've been through a lot. But as long as everything's good with you, that is, you know, we hope everything's good with you, okay with you, because that is a very cringe situation. Yeah. All right. Spanning a colossal 7,600 acres, the ranch centers on a grand three-story, four-bedroom main house, as well as a nearby caretaker's residence. Additional structures include a grass airstrip and a hangar are also part of the ranch. Among the other amenities and are stable a firehouse and a yurt. And Libby says that's just way too rich for me. Yeah, definitely. It's humongous. It's humongous. Let's see this other place they have. Yeah, scared. Well, we're loading a new area. Ooh, okay. It's gonna come back. All right, it's coming back. It just has to completely load. Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice, Maxwell's former New Hampshire hideaway, has listed for 2.5 million. The former estate. Oh, hello, Regina. Scared. Scared. The former estate belonging to Jeffrey Epstein's right hand woman, Maxwell, now for sale. Specifically, it's a 156-acre New Hampshire retreat where the federal agents arrested her in 2020, which has quietly returned to the market asking price of 2.5 million, according to online retailer.com. The price tag is more than double what Maxwell had for the home in December 2019. The listing, which makes no mention of its high profit past, highlights the property panoramic views, scheduled acreage as a fine craftsmanship. All right, so that's one of the other places that she had. Oh, he had. All right, the page is loading. It's loading up. All right. So Libby says, I mean, people buy the house just for looks. They don't even use the house or the cars. I mean, I guess it's good for me to look at wish dream of having something like that I'll never have. Yeah, because the thing about a big house is that there's a lot of rooms that aren't even used. And also, Libby, it costs a lot to keep up with. It costs a lot of money for maintenance and for taxes and insurance. It's very expensive. I know some stuff about real estate, and yeah, I remember like it's sometimes you could have like a big area, but you don't even like always use it because you just need the basic stuff. Yeah, so it's certainly like when you're not even using a lot of the parts of the house, it's like I can see where people would think it's like a waste of like money and stuff like that. Back in the 40s and the 30s and like 100 years ago, the houses that were nice were very very small inside. They're too small. Like this house that I'm in is very small. The interior is very small, but it's a nice style house. Let's say it's called like a Miami Beach house, but it's very small though because back then people didn't use a lot of spaces. I think that where my grandparents live next door, it's like over 100 years old, but it's very small interior. Like it has some interesting architecture in it, but it's very small. But as it seems like they're building houses like castles now, like these like more these expensive houses, these newer ones, and I guess older ones too that were big. It's like you're not really gonna use all the rooms, right? Abby says that's true because we have an extra living room in our house and a living room in the basement, and we don't use them. My daughter literally uses them to just run around and play in. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And Libby says, I live in a townhouse and I can't keep it up to save my life. You think if you have a 22-year-old boy and a husband, they would help, but nope. Ah, yeah, they need to do their fair share. And they don't help. Yeah, that's they need to go and do what they have to do to help. Yeah. The remote New Hampshire estate where Maxwell was arrested by the FBI in 22 has hit the market for 2.5 million. But 5 years ago, this was no peaceful country escape. It was ground zero for the most watched criminal takedowns in recent memory. Maxwell, who was convicted of the 2021 for aiding Epstein and the sexual minors and girls, was trafficked to the estate through cell phone data, months of hiding. Sam says, I live by the beach and there are really pretty houses. There are mansions and have elevators in them. I've been in a house with an elevator before, like one of my friend's house a long time ago. And that's very interesting, Sam. It's pretty cool. Abby says, get a flamethrower and tell them that you're going to start vaporizing the stuff if they don't clean it up. Yeah, yeah, do that. Yeah. All right, so that is an image of the house from a different angle. Right there, you see, you got a bunch of trees, a bunch of land, and some different houses on the property. And then you have a sign that says "tucked away" right there. Purchased in 2019 for 1.1 million by a limited liability company called the Granite Real Reality LLC, tied to Maxwell and her former partner, tech entrepreneur Scott Brogson. The compound served as her final san- sanctuary before her arrest by the FBI. Abby says it's easy fix. Favorite Nikes all over, gone. Flamethrower. Purchased in 2019 for the 1.1 million by limited liability company, and prosecutors previously noted that the court how Maxwell posted a journalist named Janet Marshall to buy the hideaway. Quote, the real estate agent for the FBI agent buyers for the house introduced themselves as Scott and Janet Marshall, both for British accents, and said the assistant of U.S. Attorney Alison Moe about the transaction. Scott Marshall told her that he was retired from the British military and currently working on a book on Janet Marshall described herself as a journalist. They told the agent that they wanted to purchase the property quickly through a wire and that they were sitting on the LLC's. Moe continued. And chat's funny. Libby says, I don't help. I have tried, so I started buying new shirts for the house, and hubby's like, what the F? And I said, clean and I will stop spending LMAO. Yeah, that is hilarious. Spirit, and Abby says that Libby's her spirit animal. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, hilarious. Yeah, it's like you gotta set boundaries when people are not doing what they're supposed to do, definitely. The listing now presents a striking difference in image. The timber frame man residence featuring a great room anchored by a soaring fieldstone fireplace, floor to ice windows, and a stone patio with the views of the rolling landscape and a sunroom with the wood burning stove, a large eat-in kitchen, and a covered porch add to the property's rustic luxury appeal. And that is her with Epstein on the ranch. Okay, it's he's on a motorcycle and she's like kind of riding on it with him. I'm scared. Libby said when she's mad or upset, she spends money and he can't stand it. Oh, scared. The detached the detached barn is an outfit as a two-bedroom guest house, and the land includes the manicured gardens, a pond, conversion trails, and a full workshop and equipment garage. The real estate description pitches the property as a ideal for a hunter, farmer, and horse lover, hiker, and privacy lover, touting that the 360-degree views of the beauty in nature. Skirt. And Abby says, husbands, I don't have one, but I almost did, but I broke off my engagement. I'm scared. Margaret Weathers, a four-season Celopes house, holds the listing. She did not return the post request for the comment. Yeah, it definitely seems like it's very hard. Yeah, Libby. And Abby broke her own engagement. Yeah, no company's better than bad company. If the house is being sold, who gets the money? If the the Gisland, okay, if Maxwell's LLC is it's going to be her legal fees, it is going to the victims as it should. An unnamed insider told News Nation, which the first report of the listing. Maxwell is currently okay. Sam, we're about to answer your question right now. Maxwell is currently serving a 20-year sentence at the FCI Tallahassee and pensioned to the U.S. Supreme Court after a lower court rejected her appeal. Her legal strategy centers on the controversial 2007 non prosecution agreement between the Epstein and the federal prosecutors in Florida that claims to have shielded her prosecution. Abby, I can't even begin to imagine what it's like to be related to these kind of people. I think that it has to be just completely terrible. Yeah, so yeah, that was Epstein's ranch. Some more pictures of it right there. Nasty kind of people folk show. All right, so that's a garden right there. Okay, and I'm going to talk again about what I talked about earlier. So the people that are coming in could understand what's going on, like the Epstein, the whole breakdown about it. Okay, we're gonna go to that one. I'll have to go and find it somewhere around here. Okay, let's go to. Oh yeah, okay. So I got it right here. Good. Let's see. Could I'm gonna look that up to just to make sure. It's been fun hanging out with all of you. Gotta get dinner made. Have a great night. See you all soon. See you soon, Rita. Thank you. Oh, okay. DOJ, 32 minutes ago. Breaking. Okay. 32 minutes ago. DOJ rejects Maxwell's appeal. It seems. Okay. I think that's it. And all right, let's see some more information about this. What happened with this sentencing? I have to go look into that with the sentencing. I don't think that they really covered about the sentencing like I thought they would, in my opinion. Oh, you're welcome, Sam. And I'm going to get to Diddy after this part with the Maxwell. Okay. But, yeah, I'm going to talk about Diddy sentencing too after this. All right. DOJ rejects Maxwell's appeal in the SCOTUS response. Maxwell was convicted in a jury in New York in 2021 for 5 counts involving sex trafficking of a minor and conspiracy. Oh no, Libby, he's staying in jail. Yeah, he's going to stay in jail in October. They're going to do more. Yeah, he's in jail. All right, let's dive into this Maxwell thing. Okay. The Department of Justice on Monday asked for the Supreme Court to deny Jeffrey Epstein's associate Maxwell to appeal of her sex trafficking conviction, a move that comes as the department has recently come under fire for its handling of the Epstein case files. Maxwell, 63, was convicted by a jury in New York in 2021 for the 5 counts involving the sex trafficking of a minor and conspiracy. She was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Maxwell appealed her conviction, saying that it should be tossed out for several reasons, including that a plea that deal with Epstein reached with the federal government in 2007 immunized her, and that status of limitations had run out. Damn right, eat my dinkleberries, kids. Gahizzle, yeah. This dude dancing is a freaking vibe. Yeah. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit denied her appeal, but Maxwell argued that the circuit courts have issued a desperate orders about what kind of immunity is granted through the prosecutional agreements, such as of one of Epstein received the 2007 and Supreme Court should go and weigh in. Oh yeah, we could absolutely. We'll screen share right now. I'll do it right now. Um, there you go. Be glad to screen share. Okay, and this is a picture of Epstein and Maxwell. All right, that's Epstein. Okay, and I guess I'll start from the top. Start over. The Department of Justice on Monday asked the Supreme Court for Jeffrey Epstein's association with Maxwell's appeal of her sex trafficking conviction, a move that comes in a department has recently come under for its handling of Epstein's case files. And Maxwell, 63, was convicted by the jury in New York in 2021 of 5 counts of involving sex trafficking of a minor and conspiracy. She was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Maxwell appealed her conviction and saying that it should be tossed out for several reasons, including that a plea deal reached with the federal government in 2007 immunized her and that statute of limitations had run out. Yeah, look at Kohberger's eyes, man. They got Kohberger in the corner, and then you're gonna have Gavin Newsom or Newscomb as they call him, and Vance, and another window. Oh yeah, we're gonna have a whole slideshow. Yes, they were lovers, in my opinion. Maxwell appealed her conviction, saying that it should be tossed out for several reasons, including that the plea deal reached with the federal government in 2007 immunized her, and that status of limitations have run out. For 20 years, Libby, until 2037. All right, so that is Epstein and Maxwell. The U.S. Court of Appeals for a Second Circuit denied her appeal, but Maxwell argued that the circuit courts have issued a desperate orders about what kind of immunity is granted for non prosecutional agreements, such as the one Epstein received in 2007, and the Supreme Court should weigh in. Maxwell is serving out her prison sentence in Tallahassee, Florida. It is the set of the end of 2037. DOJ's response to a high court comes after the department recently ignited fury among a faction of the President Donald Trump supporters by announcing that it had no few information to release the related to Epstein's case. Epstein was charged in a 2019 with a sex trafficking underage women, but he died before he could stand trial. Authorities ruled his death caused by suicide, but we don't really agree with it. Yeah, alien ladies in the house. Facts. Shout out to all the beautiful, gorgeous alien ladies in the house. The most beautiful women on earth. Yes. Some of DOJ's officials had advanced the theories that the government was hiding information related to Epstein's case, but they have since walked back to those claims. Congress could call on Maxwell to testify before lawmakers, citing anomalous sources. The Daily Mail reported that Monday that Maxwell is interested in doing that. Maxwell's attorney did not respond to a Fox News digital request commenting on the report. Her attorney did, however, take a jab at Trump over the DOJ's position on Maxwell's appeal. Libby says she'll be too old to get her 6 on when she gets out. Exactly. Exactly. Her attorney did not take the jab at President Trump over the appeal. Her nut will be dust. Yes. I'd be surprised if this is the quote. Quote, I'd be surprised if President Trump knew his lawyers were asking the Supreme Court to let the government break a deal. The attorney, David Oscar Marcus, said he's the ultimate deal maker, and I'm sure he'd agree that when the United States gives its word, it should keep it. With all the talk about what's going on, what's going being prosecuted, and who isn't, it's especially unfair that Maxwell remains in prison based on the promise that the government made and broke. She'll be getting it on like Miss Donna Adelson. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that is a situation going on with Epstein, basically. All right, going here. Yeah, I think it's absolutely cringe about this situation. Yeah, so that is the answer about Maxwell. Okay. Let's go to Diddy sentencing. Libby says, I'm so happy Abby is like me. I like to talk to nasty and crazy sometimes. Facts. Yeah, you're in the right place. Uh, you're in the right place for that. Absolutely. This is where all the cool people are. Libby, that's why you rock, and it was always amazing seeing you talking to you. Yeah. Yeah, soulmates. Yeah. All right, so with Sean Diddy Combs will be sentenced on October 3rd, on October 3 for 2 counts of transportation for prostitution. The sentencing follows a split verdict where he was acquitted for sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy charge, but found guilty on the transportation charges. He faces a maximum of 20 years in prison, with the prosecutors recommending a sentence between 4 to 5 years. Absolutely, Sam. And he's going to either be in jail for a year, 1 to 7 years. Anna said, "When I say even the most minor things, I get blocked or timed out or slammed." I know because you're misunderstood. Because not everybody is a great mind like you. So, and because you're around like-minded people with us, because we're great minds too. Yeah, but you are misunderstood, but you're cool people. Abby says, but he'd be into that though. Yeah. The sentence date for Diddy is October 3. Convictions of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Potential sentence up to 20 years, with prosecution suggesting 4 to 5 years. Abby says he's freaky. A little electrocution ain't gonna phase Big D. Sam says, damn it, you're right. I guess that rotting in prison, he liked that too. Libby says, I mean, at least nothing came up yet about the minors, then I will hate him more. But for what he was charged with, I think he needs to be home. Y'all don't come for me. Yeah, it's okay, Libby. It's all good. Now, I think with the way the state handled this, they could have gotten him on domestic abuse, but with the RICO charges, because Brian Steele, his excellent attorney, he got him off the hook for that, because I don't think that he was, like, with RICO, like, a freak off and RICO aren't the same thing, and, like, the charges for RICO didn't really apply here, and the defense was making it look like it was more consensual than not consensual, but as I said, it's up for debate about that. But they should have tried to get him for domestic abuse, because the way that the state did it, it didn't really sway the jury, but other people think that the jury could have been manipulated with money or something like that. But yeah, I do think Diddy is shady, though, and like with Epstein, he did do something, but of course there's different, colorful opinions about it. And Abby says she's going to come for Libby. Sam said, skirt. Skirt. Sam said, Libby, there are rumors that he sexually assaulted Justin Bieber, Usher, and the boys in Brim and B2K. Yeah, I heard about that too. Sam, I heard about that too. Hello, Todd. Good to see you, buddy. I hope you're doing well. Shout out to Todd. Abby said someone told me that at one of LeBron parties, LeBron took it up the ears. Scared. Scared. Libby said, Sam, yes, I heard that too, but he didn't even get charged for DV, and that's an easy charge. The potential sentence, up to 20 years, with the prosecutor suggesting 4 to 5 years. Acquittals and sex trafficking and racketeering, conspiracy charges. Judge Aaron Schubermain, pre-sentencing report. A pre-sentencing investigation report can influence the judge's decision. Will be submitted on before August 29. So in October 3, he's going to have sentencing. The feds are mad they weren't advised of the freak-offs. Yeah. Well, let's read this. Okay. I gotta react to this one. Diddy, Johnny Depp, and Kevin Spacey's legal victories expose crucial flaws in the Me Too prosecutions, experts explain. Alright, so they're also talking about Depp now. I believe that Depp was innocent, in my opinion, but he wasn't perfect. Experts say that Sean Diddy Combs, Kevin Spacey, and Johnny Depp legal victories reveal how star power can trump accusers in court. Todd said the music business is so different behind closed doors. It's ridiculous and the stuff that I hear. And Sean Diddy Combs, Kevin Spacey, and Johnny Depp's legal victories have established that the Me Too movement was a wrecking ball on the legal system as prosecutors failed to collect convictions, those in high profile cases. Celebrity status became an advantage for these public figures when entering the courtroom and facing a jury of peers, expert told Fox News Digital. Exactly, Abby. Right. Exactly. The guys who are deeks, the biggest deeks, are usually the smallest ones. Exactly. Yeah, I agree. Itty bitty ditty. Diddy couldn't help his innie. Sam says Libby, which sucks. I wish the system didn't fail his victims, but hopefully October 3, they'll charge him with some more. Right. After 7 weeks of trial, Diddy was found not guilty of sex trafficking, one of the most serious accusations the rapper had been facing. Spacey was acquitted in his high profile London trial, stemming from the allegations that he assaulted four men, while Depp won $10 million in his defamation case against his ex-wife Amber Heard. 49ers, it is so great to see you. It's been so long. I hope that you're doing well, and welcome to the stream. It is I'm so glad to see you. The Me Too movement has proven to be a reckoning in the court of public opinion, but a wrecking of the ball of the American legal system, branding the expert Doug Eldridge told Fox News Digital. Initially, it provided exposure and disinfectant and justice for decades of criminal behavior in Hollywood. However, the trial wave of claims, many of which turned out to either to be false or to simply lacking evidence to support, cause an overcorrection across the legal system, was akin to jerking a steering wheel. The movement, your tires begin to slip on ice. It gradually became emotion over the evidence and the analytical to jurisprudential and standards of America. Oh, thank you, Libby. I love you too. Quote, the court of public opinions is an angry mob. A court of law is a jury of your peers. Latter requires evidence, burden of proof, and presumption of innocence, while the former conflates of the accusation convictions is the height of the Me Too era that we're all lacking, and over the long enough timeline, American men and women alike, begun to realize the eventual rebel against this. Oh yeah, Todd is awesome. He's always a gentleman, very cool to everybody. And yeah, shout out to Damon. Smoke and Scan is cool people. I learned a lot from Damon, Sam. I learned a lot from him. And also, yeah, Todd's excellent. Yeah, he's Very nice and welcoming to people in chat here and everywhere else. Yeah, Todd's awesome. Yeah. Gradually become emotional over the evidence and that his antithetical to jurisprudential standards in America. Okay, so by a quote by Doug Eldridge is it gradually became emotional over the evidence and that is analytical to jurisprudential standards in the America. Yeah, 49ers. That's what my mom thinks. Oh, thank you, 49ers, for the hello. Thank you. Allegedly, Sam, there's a theory that Diddy bought some of the jurors. Libby says, I'm just a lovable person. I hug and kiss, and I will tell you I love you every day. That's how me and my family are. Oh, yeah, Libby, I'm glad that you have you here, and you're very sweet and kind. I appreciate you. Depp was awarded the $10 million in 2022 after a jury found Heard in a defamation defamed him. The jury decided it was clear that the Aquaman star was referring to Depp when she wrote the opinion piece about being a victim of domestic violence. Oh yeah, Abby, absolutely, absolutely. I don't know much about that, but right. 49ers said a in a New York person, I a New York person, and there was too much evidence to get a not guilty. Understood, 49ers. All right, let's see. Wrong window. Oh yeah, Libby, I'm glad that you're like that. You gotta do what you gotta do. Exactly. He's still on the run. Okay, Travis Decker manhunt. He's still in the run. Oh yes, I remember this. We talked about this before. Yeah, Travis Decker's still in the run. Okay, Libby. Well, thank you for hanging out with us. If you're gonna not be in chat, thank. I really enjoy the time with you. All right. The knee-jerk public reaction to allegations of sexual assault or harassment isn't prevailing, as we've seen. The jury became the true attributor to the outcome in court. The entertainment lawyer Love explained. Fox News Digital. Abby says it's not just the fact that he deleted them. Skirt. Talk to you later. Skirt. Okay, let me talk to you later. Skirt. Scared. Abby says it's not just the fact that he deleted them. It's also the fact that left their bodies there and ran away and left them there alone instead of taking his own life. I swear, and by Libby, we miss you. They have found that man. They have found that man yet. I've missed a lot of recovery. Yeah. So 49ers, they haven't found them yet. 49ers says, have fun, darling. Boys have been doing the house chores. Her boy's been doing the house chores. Ah, okay. Quote, the novelty of the Me Too movement and fear of the guilt through mere accusation is over. He said that the public is now as sensitive to abuse the extortion tactics by incredible opportunities as it is legitimate and claims that by real victims, the courts or the juries have maintained the status quo and been to the true attributor in deciding six crimes, staving off the being unaffected by the knee-jerk public reaction. Yeah, right on, 49ers. Samson Abbey, he sounds pathetic. I hope he encounters someone who loves to practice their Second Amendment. Facts. How could you sleep at night knowing that you did that? He used the zip ties. Yeah, exactly. Spacey snobbed outside the courthouse after being found guilty. I imagine that many of you can understand that there's a lot for me to process after what has happened today. Spacey said that to him, according to the Daily Mail, but I would like to say that I'm enormously grateful to the jury for having taken time to examine all the evidence and all the facts that carefully before they reached their decision. The sexual acts of the House of Cards star was accused of hand by reportedly occurring between 2001 and 2013. They ranged the unwanted touch to aggressive crotch grabbing and on instance performing oral sex on an unconscious man. Look at Diddy, he's all like, haha, I got them. 49ers says, if I saw him, I would use my rights to protect and use my rights to bear arms. It would be by Felicia. Facts. That's awesome. The lack of convictions on an all listener could become because the jurors love the celebrities, former federal prosecutor Nemo Remini, and also Brian Steele. Abby says, going to dip right now because I'm a little stressed, but I will hop on later if I'm still awake. If not, then good night. Love you all. You're amazing. And thank you, Alien, for streaming. You are the boss. Thank you, Abby, for being here. Always lovely and kind to everybody as usual, and to myself. And I hope you feel better. And thank you for being here. It's always puts a smile on my face when I see you here. Quote, the celebrity cases are tough to win because you have a well-liked defendant who may be in the toughest and aggressive prosecution. I think I missed the part. It doesn't matter if the civil or criminal case, he said. They do better than ordinary Joes. And prosecutors like going after celebrities to make a name for themselves and cash and out and leave the district attorney and U.S. attorney's office for a high-paying gig. The same applies to civil plaintiffs, lawyers, and they prefer suing celebrities to regular people because of the publicity and the fact that they have lots of money and can pay a judgment, and they have celebrity money, comes the ability to pay the best and brightest lawyers in the game. Celebrity cases are tough to win because you have a well-liked defendant who may be a target of an aggressive prosecutor or civil plaintiff's lawyer and who has ultimated funds to assemble a dream team. Lawyers think that they can steamroll them like their other defendants, but they can't because of the difference in resources and the innate advantages celebrates have trials and often come down to the liability and credibility to celebrities have upper hand because the jurors love them, and that's why they are tough and take them down in court. Oh, that's Weinstein. Scared. 49ers said, "Dang, I finally got online, and now it's dinner time. Great to see you all. Might be back soon. You rock, alien spaceship." Oh, thank you, 49ers. You rock too. I appreciate being here. Y'all have a great dinner. True. Oh, good grief. Okay. Oh my goodness. It's 5:43. Good lord. Niema wrote, quote, "Trials often come down to the liability and credibility of the celebrities having the upper hand because jurors love them. That is why they are tough to take down inside of court." Thanks, Sam. The latest celebrity wins in criminal court is Diddy and Harvey Weinstein show that the Me Too movement has taken a serious hit. Rahamani noted, "The Me Too may not be deleted." Yes, yeah, the grandma of the chat is out, yeah. Yeah, the hilarious 49ers. And the Me Too may not be deleted, you may not be dead, but after Diddy verdict and Harvey Weinstein retrial, the movement has taken a serious hit, and Rahamani, founder of the West Coast Trial Lawyers, said the prosecutors are expected to win always, and they're going to be hesitant to file more cases against the celebrities. Weinstein's retrial concluded June 11, a little over a year after the 2020 conviction was overturned. The former film procedure was acquitted on the Criminal Six Act charge while the jury was unable to reach the verdict in Weinstein's rape charge. Weinstein convicted of sexually assaulted Maureen Haley, a production assistant, while Diddy scored a win with an acquittal on his sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy charges. The rapper still faces up to 20 years behind bars. The jury found Combs guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution in July 2. His sentencing hearing has been sent for October 3, and prosecutors have recommended the music mogul serve between 4 to 5 years in prison. To keep a handle on the public opinion during a high profile celebrity trial, lawyers have turned working alongside the PR representatives to ensure the intact career. Quote, "There have been many instances where, despite an innocent ruling, the court of law." Oh, hello, Greg. Good to see you, buddy. There have been many instances where, despite an innocent ruling in the court of law, public was not forgiving, and a person's career was severely impacted. To put an end to this, to Steve Koenig, PR expert tower of the Honig Company, told Fox News Digital during a trial, all sorts of damaging information is revealed, and regardless of the eventual ruling, it is next to impossible to remove this information from the minds of the public, recognizing that this is where seeing lots of more instances of attorneys working closely with the public relations professional and crisis manager try to render the innocent ruling both courts of law and the court public opinion. James Dean. James Dean, rather. All right. All right. All right. Okay, let's see. with the Epstein thing, guarding in prison. That might be it. That might be it. I'll go over this again for the people that are here. Let's see. It'll take a moment to load all this up. We're going to get into this thing right here, and then after this part, I'm going to end the stream and get some stuff I gotta get done. But we're going to do this right now. And Sam says, "All right, Alien, I'm a head out. I got a class to attend. Hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow at Smoke and Skin, or SNS, which is also abbreviated as." Have a good night, Sam. Thank you for coming. It was a pleasure chatting with you. See you tomorrow, hopefully. All right. All right, Greg, and everybody else that's here. We're going to go over the timeline of the Epstein situation. And then we're going to... And then after that, I'm going to... I know you just got here, Greg, but after that, then I'm going to end the stream and get some stuff done. Okay. All right, so we're going to go over the timeline right here. The Department of Justice, the FBI, in a memo last week upheld the finding that he hanged himself. The government also said that he had no incriminating client list and that the additional files related to the case against him are not appropriate for release. Timeline of the events at hand. In 2008, a slap on the wrist. Epstein received a punishment of the 13 months of soliciting prostitution from a minor in Palm Beach, Florida. The deal gained intense scrutiny years later after Miami Herald uncovered the details about the crime so concerning that Florida lawmakers years later passed a bill that allows for the release of the secret grand jury files in certain cases. In a court order authorizing the release of the documents, the circuit judge Luis Delgado warned that the contents were disturbing and related to the case involved in the underage victims of the ones of the accuser. It is widely accepted that Epstein is notorious serial 305, and the order reads, the testimony taken by a grand jury concerns the activity ranging from the grossly unacceptable to a grape to all the conduct issue is sexually deviant, disgusting, and criminal. Details and records will be outrageous to decent people. July 6, 2019, arrested again. Public fury over the Miami Herald report led to new investigation and new sex trafficking charges involving dozens of victims and some of the youngest 14. Authorities arrested him at Teterboro Airport and the New Jersey in connection with the trafficking cases in Florida and New York, the two states where he had multi-million-dollar mansion. August 10, 2019, Epstein's deletion. Although he had a pending bail appeal, authorities in the Metropolitan Detention Center in New York City found him deleted in his cell with a sheet wrapped around his throat and hanging from the bunk bed. His deletion was officially ruled a suicide by hanging, but he actually, I feel he didn't delete himself. That someone did it for him. And Epstein's brother Mark hired a renowned forensic pathologist, Dr. Michael Baden, to observe the official autopsy. He said that on Fox News at the time that their three injuries to Epstein's throat were more consistent with homicidal surgeon than by a suicidal hanging. Those three fractures are extremely unusual in a self deletion hangings and could occur more commonly in self deletion and homicidal strangulation. He said on 2019, I have not seen it in 50 years where it occurred in a self deletion hanging case. July 2020, Maxwell arrested. About a year later, the feds arrested Maxwell, Epstein's longtime lover, over the charges that she procured the underage girls as part of his trafficking ring. She was convicted at trial, sentenced to 20 years, and appealing. Her ongoing appeal could be the reason for the government to withhold additional evidence that hasn't already come out in court, experts say, but last week's memo did not reference to the case. The government could have worries about prejudicing the appeal by influencing public opinion in the appellate court. Rice said the government may also be concerned that the releasing more information could taint the judicial process that could strengthen her agreement that the case has been politicized or improperly influenced by the media. A federal judge ordered thousands of pages of documents from a civil case brought by Epstein and Maxwell victims. Virginia Giuffre unsealed documents and linked to dozens of prominent people and earnings, businesses, and politics and academia to Epstein, but not the criminal activities. That the vast majority of those figures were not accused of wrongdoing, and that the few who had already been publicity linked to the Epstein before the documents were dumped. And that is Virginia, who was a victim, and she passed away by self-deletion, but we don't believe she deleted herself, though. That she was murdered by them, and she warned that they would try to murder her. Yeah. Her lawsuit, Maxwell's public trial, played a major role in bringing much of the known information about Epstein to light. February 2025, new Attorney General weighs in. Attorney General Pam Bondi said at a televised interview with Fox News that she had a stack of Epstein-related files on her desk waiting for review before it could be released to the public. July 2025, review is complete, but few details emerge. Last week, the Justice Department and the FBI released joint memo announcing the review had been completed. However, the document revealed that barely any new information. Authorities said that most unreleased files pre-trained at minors or victims who appear to be minors, and more than 10,000 videos and images include illegal content and abuse images and videos that would not be released. The government published hours of surveillance video. Authorities support that the conclusion of the Epstein himself, but there's also missing window due to the flaw in the system, raising new questions. U.S. Department of Justice Federal Bureau investigation. U.S. Department of our commitment and transparency to the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation have conducted an exhaustive review of investigation holding the relating Jeffrey Epstein to ensure that the review was thorough. The FBI conducted digital searches of the database, hard drives and network drives, as well as physical searches of squad areas locked in the cabinets, desks, closets, and other areas where responsive material may have been stored. These searches uncovered a significant amount of material, including the more than 300 gigabytes of the data and physical evidence. The files relating to the Epstein include the large volumes of images and videos of victims who are either minors or appear to be minors, and over 10,000 download videos. And attorneys of privacy and civil liberties experts comb through digital documentary of evidence with the aim to providing as much information as possible to the public, while a fractional material would have been aired to the public had Epstein gone to trial, and sealed several online project victims, did not expose additional third parties' allegations of illegal wrongdoing. Although the review, we found no basis to revisit the disclosure of those materials will not be permitted to be released due to the illegal content. This systematic review related to non-incriminating client list. There was no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals. Part of his actions do not uncover the evidence and could predicate the investigation against the uncharged third parties. Consistent with prior disclosures, this review confirmed that Epstein harmed over 1,000 victims. Each suffered a unique trauma. Sensitive information relating to the victims is intertwined throughout the materials. This includes the specific details such as victim names, likeness, physical descriptions, place of birth, associations, employment history. One of the highest priorities is combating the child exploitation and bringing the justice victims. Of perpetuating unfounded theories about Epstein serves as neither of those ends. To the end, we have labored to provide the public with maximum information regarding Epstein to ensure the examination of the evidence and agreement possessions for the determination of the Department of Justice for Federal Bureau of Investigation. No further disclosure will be appropriate or warranted. After a thorough investigation, the FBI investigators concluded that the Jeffrey Epstein committed self-deletion in his cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City on August 10, 2019. This conclusion is consistent with the previous findings, include the August 19 autopsy finds that New York City office at the Chief Medical Examination, November 2019 position of the U.S. Attorney Office for the Southern District of New York is connected with the investigation. A federal correctional officer is responsible for guarding of Epstein with July 2023. Conclusions of DOJ's Office of the Inspector General. The conclusion of Epstein passed away by suicide further supported the video footage from the common of the special housing unit where Epstein was housed at the time in his deletion, as DOJ's Inspector General examined 2023, entering the attempted enter tier where Epstein's cell was located. The SHU common area what I've captured by this footage, the FBI independent review of this footage confirmed. At the time Epstein was locked in his cell around 10:40 p.m. to August 9, around 6:30 a.m. next morning, nobody entered any tiers of the SHU, allegedly, but we don't really believe that. And during this review, the FBI enhanced the relevant footage by increasing the contrasted balancing of color, improving the sharpness for greater clarity, viewable, full, enhanced videos are available to following links. Justice.gov field justice. All right, so that is and Maxwell is set to be released in 2037. All right. All right, so basically that is like a summary of, and Epstein has been passed away in 2019, but his it still continues the saga. The saga still continues. All right. All right, so we kind of like went over again, like that was the timeline of the Epstein incidences. Okay. So basically, uh, something I want to mention is that we, I am I have to take care of some things, so I am going to be ending the stream for now. But this was an amazing stream. We had a very good time. And I want to thank every single one of you for being here. Everybody came through, everybody that hit the like button and hung out with us and was, in chat and everything like that. I really appreciate that. And yeah, that was a very great explanation about Epstein and different things about him. It was a very insane situation. I learned a lot from everybody else in chat. All right, so I hope all of you have a very good evening, and thank you for coming. See you most likely tomorrow. All right, and because we'll be doing streams tomorrow as well. All right, and peace. All right, see if I get the thing working again. All right, I'll eventually get it right at some point. All right, there we go.